Hello everyone, my name is Amy and this is Ryan. We're from the Education Department here at the Kansas City Zoo. And today we're in the Australian section visiting our dingoes, Otto and Lefty. This is a fascinating species with a very long history. They were introduced to Australia about 4,000 years ago, but evidence shows they did exist about 10,000 years ago in Asia. They have really cool adaptations. One, they don't bark, but they will howl. And they'll use that howl to ward off threats in the area and to attract their own pack. When you look at that beautiful coat, this actually can vary from where they live in the Australian habitat. For example, it's going to be more of a golden yellow if they live in a desert environment and darker if they live in the forest. They have a very strong athletic physique, but they only usually get to be about 30-40, maxing out about 60 pounds. When you compare a 60-pound dingo to some of our domesticated dogs, that doesn't seem very large, but this is considered to be the largest on-land carnivore in Australia. They have an incredible communication system and dynamic, and I'm going to toss that over to Ryan to tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so dingoes are a lot like wolves and painted dogs. Normally you can find them living in packs that are led by a mother and father dingo and then one or two generations of their pups. And when they work together, they are one of the most successful predators in the Australian outback. A dingo alone can go after a lot of different prey items, like a lot of different small marsupials, rabbits. If they live on the coast, they might go after fish and nesting birds out there. But once you start having dingoes living in packs and getting together and working together, they can go after even bigger animals. A pack of dingoes can go after a full-grown red kangaroo. They can even go after emus. And in some cases, they can go after cattle and horses that have been introduced to Australia by people. And this is because they have a really effective hunting strategy that they share with wolves and painted dogs. The lead dingoes will find their target prey item, whether it's like an emu or kangaroo, and they'll just chase it and run it down and just try to run that chase for hours on end. And while they're getting tired from that chase, their pack mates are usually around the edge of the chase, keeping that prey animal from getting too far away from that lead animal. So by the time the hunt is over, both that lead dog and the prey item will be exhausted, but the other dingoes that were just hanging around the edge of the chase and just corralling the animal, they'll be able to go in for the kill for the end of the chase. So right now, since we're in Australia, we'd like to transition to another Australian animal that we have here in the Kansas City Zoo, the emus. Maybe our dingo friends will follow us over. Hey. All right, so now here we're over at the emus. We have 3 emus here at the Kansas City Zoo, and like I said, they're native to Australia. It's not often that you come across a bird that can look you in the eye, but emus can get over 6 feet tall, which makes them the second largest bird after ostriches in terms of height. Emus are really well adapted to living in the woodlands and savannas across Australia. You can see they have those really big shaggy feathers. They come in those different dark and light brown colors, but they can get more reddish brown depending on what types of habitat they live in, kind of like with our dingoes. Their feathers are really good at keeping the emus cool in the hot Australian like summer. They kind of help keep the sun off their body, which is why they're so shaggy. Emus also have really cool air conditioning systems built into their body. Their lungs kind of work like our sweat does, where it kind of evaporates the water off, and then that helps cool their body. But when that water starts leaving their body, their nose actually catches that water and they suck it right back in. So they kind of keep really good control of how much water they're losing, which lets them go across various parts of Australia. The thing that helps emus move across lots of Australia are those really big, powerful legs. They look a lot like something you'd see off of Jurassic Park. And those legs are really strong. They can move emus at up to 30 miles per hour. And if they need to, they can even jump into water and swim quite well. And that lets them migrate across the Australian outback and the other different parts of Australia from woodlands and savannas while they're following the rain patterns that lead to their food, which is mostly vegetation, cropping up all across the continent. And since our emus live next to our dingoes, it's a good idea to look at their feet. You can see they have 3 huge claws on their feet, and those claws are really good at defense. An emu kick can easily injure a dingo or other predator that might try to make a meal out of them. So they're really well protected from the threats they might face while they're looking for food in the outback.
Yes, and today I brought with us a emu egg. This is a pretty glorious egg. They weigh about a pound, and the volume is equal to about 12 chicken eggs. Now, in the emu world, it's all about dad. The breeding season will begin in the summer months. They will stay together till about the fall, and that time, dad is actually going to sit on the eggs, incubating them, and then will stay with the chicks for about 18 months. So they're incredible dads in the animal kingdom. We hope you learned a lot about our emus and dingoes today. Thank you so much for Ryan for joining us today. Stay tuned for more fun and educational videos on our social media pages. Have a great day.